Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to go over one of my favorite herbs in the world to grow. It's super common, you can find it in the grocery store. That's where I got both of these. And I wanted to kind of show you like the two different kinds. But this one I got at the grocery store just in its own little pot, and see how it's kind of like not so hot right now. And then I got this kind of basil that came in like a little plastic container, but see how it has like the soil right there. So today I wanted to kind of repot these into one pot. I know this looks weird. I just kind of like took those Trader Joe's coffee bean tins and wrapped white paper around it, and I put plastic like a plastic bag in here to kind of keep the water off of the cardboard inside. But eventually when it's all done, I'll tuck the plastic back in so you won't see it, okay? Relax. But it's just kind of a fun DIY like planter. It just looks better than a black plastic, you know, thing. So I'm gonna unwrap this guy. Let's have a look-see. Okay, well that opened really easily. I thought it was gonna take longer. Cool. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill this pot with some potting mix. Okay, all right, here we go. I'm gonna move these aside. So I'm gonna fill it up, okay, just like that. Just with your standard potting mix, because basil really likes to be well moisturized constantly. It doesn't like to dry out. It's really dramatic. So if you let it dry out a lot, it's gonna throw a fit. And you'll know what I'm talking about when you get one. You'll learn. It'll teach you. I'm just using my bare hands because I'm too lazy to go get my gloves. So, oh shoot! I knocked her over. Sorry. I'm gonna fill it up really good because these roots are tiny. Like, no joke, tiny. So I'm gonna take this guy out of its pot, and I'm gonna remove any leaves that don't look so good. You see how they look all dry? I'm just gonna take these off. Just remove any crispy leaves that just aren't obviously gonna produce anything, because it's good to prune your basil. It actually will thrive better in the end the more you remove right now. Okay, so I'm gonna set this guy in here, and I know it's gonna look really tight, but it's a very deep well that its roots can really take over, so it's gonna be just fine. So I'm gonna take this guy out of his coffin. It really looks like a coffin. And it was in the refrigerated section, so I don't know how it's gonna respond to not being in the fridge anymore. I've never gotten this kind of basil, so it's kind of an experiment. So we'll see. So really tiny root ball, as you can see. So I'm gonna put it next to this guy and just kind of break up its leaves a little bit because it was smashed in there. Like, poor thing. So I'm hoping with this repotting that it can kind of come back to life. So once they're in there, I'm gonna refill the empty spaces with soil. And for this plastic bag, guys, I just used like one of the grocery bags that you get in the vegetable section. I try to reuse those as much as I can at home, like either as a little trash bag or... Sorry, my arm is like in the weirdest position right now. So now that she's all set, I'm going to tuck in this plastic so you can't see it anymore. I know it's upsetting to the eye. And I put drainage at the bottom, by the way. I already poked holes in the bottom of the can. You see those? So the drainage will work just fine. So that's the final product. Isn't that cute? So eventually it'll grow tall and it'll kind of like even out with this big long can. But that's what it looks like for now. Yeah, I'm just worried about this one that was in the fridge because the leaves kind of keep falling off, but hopefully it'll bounce back. I don't know, we'll see. So the light for basil, they prefer almost direct sun. I have it in my, oh shoot, I almost knocked something over, sorry. I have it in my south-facing window, so it gets some direct sun throughout the day. They really like intense heat, and they really like a lot of water. So be sure to constantly check their soil, especially if it's in the summer months. You really need to water them almost every few days, and they'll droop, like their leaves will really droop when they're thirsty. You don't necessarily want them to totally get completely droopy because they don't always bounce back as strong. You know, once they start to look a little like sad, you can water them. You should let them dry out completely between waterings to make sure you're not overwatering, because I've seen so many people overwater So it's really a delicate dance with basil, and with any herb really. So if they're not in as much heat or sun, then lay back on the water a lot. But if it's like 90 degrees outside, they're right in the window, then check their soil every few days, and when it's really dry, then give them a water. And I just use regular potting soil for this. I'm sure you can mix it with cactus mix and that would be fine. You just might have to water it more often. So the denser soil you use, the less you'll have to water, which I'm all about. I want to limit that as much as possible. Because I always forget. I'm not an overwaterer. I'm definitely an underwaterer type. I'm not a helicopter plant parent, so... But if you are, tread carefully, guys. You better learn before basil because they will die pretty quick if you overwater. Okay? So pruning these guys is very important. Basil tends to get really, really leggy if you don't regularly cut off its leaves and use it in some kind of sauce or cooking or something. So you want to be sure if you're giving it a lot of light that you prune it back every once in a while, just like the top set of leaves or something. Nothing too crazy. You don't need to cut it back completely or anything like that. But just like the top set of leaves, you know? Like something like, you know, on the top, on the tippy top. And make your pesto or whatever you do with basil. I only know pesto. And the smell is just gorgeous. Like the smell of basil, like just, I feel like a chef, but I'm not. I got Wesley to say hi. So I hope this video was helpful. He's like staring at me with rage. There's total rage and just look at his paw. Stop shoving me. So I hope this repotting and care video for basil was helpful, guys. It's a pretty easy herb. It's definitely not for beginners. You want to know kind of what you're doing. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell me about your basil plants if you have any, or other herbs that you have. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Bye, bye, bye.